He asked me if I look gay enough.
Yeah, we're going for gay.
Everyone comment below.
Does Matt Steele look gay enough this week?
Be as harsh as you can.
I think you look plenty gay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
By harsh, I meant like they would say, you look so straight. And I'd be like, no, that's not my brand.
No, that's completely...
We're completely doing this channel wrong.
I know, we've done everything wrong. We're straight now.
I know, as I stand here in my fucking star shirt, like chunky sweater.
I think you got it.
You kind of look bro-y.
Thanks, man.
Look at that.
I'm a bro.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another 2 Game Ads. It is Matt Steele.
And it's Matt Palmer.
And Matt Palmer is on the mend, much healthier now. And we decided to do a part 2 of a video that we did like 6 months ago, I believe, where we talked about eras of some of our favorite pop ladies, eras that we wish went better.
Right.
Eras for albums that we really, really loved and deserved more, but we know where they went wrong.
Exactly.
And so we called that errors in the eras.
And the thing is, we love all of the albums we discussed in the last video and the ones we're going to discuss today. And we just feel like if we were in charge of the world and or the record labels, then maybe we would have made some different choices in rolling out the records. Because again, all the artists can really do is make the best album possible. And then it's up to the label people, the promotion team, to make sure that the correct single choices are made, that people are understanding the concept of the albums based on the songs they're hearing on the radio. And sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but also sometimes the artists do have a little bit of a say.
Yes.
Depends on who the artist is.
Does,
like I guarantee you, Beyonce says, hey, you can release schmoopsy blah blah blah. And
love that song.
And the radio and the record label will just be like, sure, do whatever you want.
I mean, you know how I feel about how End of Time should have been the lead single on 4.
Well, that was years ago. Beyonce didn't necessarily have that power. Maybe
know.
Beyonce wanted End of Time, but the label said no.
I think it leaked, and so she was like, we'll do something else. And it's like, sometimes leaks are okay.
All right. So these 3 people, maybe they were like going to make the decisions that we would have made for them.
Right.
And the label said no.
We'll have to check
But
and
maybe
see.
they were wrong themselves.
Whoever was wrong, we're here to correct you.
Someone's wrong.
Someone was wrong.
Yes.
Should we jump in with Miley first?
Yes, I just want to say Matt Palmer picked all 3 of these. So these are ones that he has strong feelings about. So this album is...
This album is my favorite Miley Cyrus album. It's an album entitled Plastic Hearts.
It's her best.
Period.
Like just like it's her most cohesive album. It's the one with the clearest point of view. Like all the songs are great. Like she does a really great job. She sounds great. It's the music that like fits the most well for her.
Absolutely.
Voice, aesthetic, everything. So what went wrong, Matt Palmer? Tell us.
For me, I feel like after Midnight Sky, which I feel like was the right first single for this record.
Sure.
I feel like the choices in singles after that were just not ones I would make. Obviously, Prisoner with Dua Lipa, it makes sense. Dua Lipa's having this giant moment.
This was what, 2021?
This is 2020, period.
This was all the way back in...
This was back in 2020.
Oh, this
I
was
know.
almost 5 years ago?
Yeah, but so we're in November 2020, so this is future nostalgia is at its peak.
So we are doing the Dua Lipa.
So
we're doing what we have to do.
And I don't dislike Prisoner. I think it is a good song. I don't know that it would be my choice. I will say, and I know that this is already still one of her top songs, so maybe I'm wrong in this. I think Angels Like You is fine.
It's one of her top...
It's her 3rd most listened to song on Spotify as we speak.
Ever?
Well, just right now. Beneath Flowers and Party in the USA, number 3. Angels Like You.
Right below Party in the USA.
Yes,
is
above
Angels Like You.
Wrecking Ball, above We Can't Stop.
Above Wrecking Ball, against We Can't Stop?
Above The Climb. Yes, like...
The Climb is a classic!
I know. I think it is a song that went viral on TikTok at some point, you know, which is always the answer.
Angels like the most random ass songs go viral on TikTok.
I know. And so I get, clearly it did what it needed to do at some stage of our lives.
Okay.
But to me, that song is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I like it better than you, I would say.
do.
Like,
I
I
think
do
you do.
like the song. I think it's nice and everything. But number 3 of all
Number
time.
3.
That's egregious. And if someone can comment below and explain that to us.
Right. I would love to know.
Please let us know.
So for me, if it were up to me, I am still opening with Midnight Sky. I think that is a great first single.
And back then, I feel like songs that had a very heavily used sample were big. I mean, this is like Blinding Lights time, I feel, right?
Absolutely.
And so, like, Midnight Sky makes absolute sense. sense.
So I stand by that. I think that is a great choice. A song that I think is not given enough on this record, and I think should have been the second one released, is the title track, Plastic Hearts.
It's great. It's great.
That is a great song that is like so incredibly singable. And I feel like whenever the title track of the album is as strong as that, it's like you need to put it out because this is reminding everyone of the album.
Plastic Hearts.
Right. And the song is as good as can be. So the fact that this was not a single is still upsetting to me.
Sure.
I will never fully understand it. After that, if we're going to do like a ballady kind of moment, in lieu of Angels Like You, I am, of course, doing Hate Me. I fucking love Hate Me.
Hate Me is so weird.
It's bizarre.
But yet somehow it works.
Yep.
Especially like with her performance of it. It's just such a unique song that I think would have been a great single because people would have listened to it and been like, I can't think of anything that's really like this. This is such an attitude coming from Miley.
And what an anthemic chorus and like what a great concept for a song. I just am obsessed with Hate Me and think the world should have heard it. Single 4, if we're still, let's do Prisoner with Dua Lipa.
Sure.
Now's the time.
Keep the era going.
Keep the era going. And then I would close the era out with a song that I fucking love. I've always loved from this album, entitled Never Be Me.
Yeah.
It is the message to Liam. This is the pre-Flowers moment of like, I know you want me to be this person, but that will never be me. It is so singable. It sings so well. It reminds me of, there's a similar track on Bangers. I need to look up the track list there that it gives me that. It's Maybe You're Right. It's like that kind of confessional, like, I am talking to this one man who has been in my life for a fucking decade, and at some point I have to let him go, and it feels like Never Be Me is like the swan song for that relationship.
Sure.
And I think that would have been a final 5th single and a great one for an era that deserved so much more than it received.
So much more, especially because her era after it was so big.
Yes.
Like Endless Summer Vacation is so big.
I mean, Flowers was big.
Flowers was big. Yeah. So that obviously helps the eras. But still, this album is better.
It is better.
It's better. And so I wish it was. But the thing is, this album only had 3 singles.
Yes.
I mean, granted, it was also COVID time.
It was COVID times, which I understand. Do you have any other songs that you wished were singles?
Those are exactly the ones that I would
Were they really?
Yeah, completely. But I understand why Prisoner was number 2.
Yes.
I do get why it was number 2, so I don't hate that.
I don't hate it.
But yeah,
Angels Like You is wild to me. I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
Explain to us like we're 5.
Yes, explain it to us in the comments.
Like You is the one. What it takes to go viral on TikTok these days, because truly we're just putting anything on there.
We don't know. Next up, we have an album, my favorite album by this artist who I believe won Album of the Year for a different album. That is not as good. But this album is entitled Pageant Material.
And this is a controversial opinion that we, the 2 Gay Mats, will forever stand by.
Yes.
That Same Trailer, Different Park and Pageant Material are Kacey Musgraves' 2 best albums.
Period.
And y'all can scream at us all you want.
Exactly. You can throw tomatoes in the comments if you would like, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
The lyricism jumps out here, and the incredible, she's just the songcraft on those records are completely second to none. And I feel like Pageant Material just gets a little bit overlooked. I feel like we just as a culture do not talk about Pageant Material enough. It feels like after Follow Your Arrow won CMA Song of the Year, whatever, they were just like, okay, Biscuits is the closest thing to it on this album. Let's make that the single. And followed up with just one more, a great song, but one more song, and then In the Era.
Yeah.
And that to me is wild.
I like Biscuits. Biscuits is a very cute song, but it's so similar to Follow Your Arrow.
So similar.
It's so obviously we are trying to do the same thing over again.
Yes.
And that works sometimes with How Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again are very, very similar songs.
They
They're
are.
both excellent songs.
Yes.
But there's so much excellent material on Pageant Material. So much material that stands out and is about something so specific.
Yes.
Each song is about something so specific that I feel like so many other choices for the first single are there.
It's true. It feels a little uninspired, especially because the option to me is let's show her growth as a songwriter. I feel like this album is a bit more romantic than the first one. I feel
funnier.
And so let's lean into either of those or some of those. What would your album or song single choices for this album?
First, Somebody to Love is Kacey Musgraves' best song.
It's perfect.
In my opinion.
It's perfect.
I think it's one of the most wonderful, perfect, beautiful, devastating songs that's ever been crafted.
Insane that wasn't a single.
But first single.
Not first. Not first.
But I don't know. Let's see. Oh.
I have a choice, but I don't want to.
The thing
sway
is,
you.
Late to the Party is such a perfect song
it's
as
a perfect
well.
song.
But it wouldn't be a first single.
Right.
Tell me what your thought would be.
My thought is Dime Store Cowgirl, which was the second single. I think it's a solid song. And I think in listening to the album, I see what the issue is. Like, the best songs are all a little more down tempo, you know?
They're so good though.
But they're so good that like the world needs to hear them.
She's not afraid to release a down tempo song as the first single. What's it called? The Well, Deeper Well.
That's true.
Girl, she just did that. When the ballads are so good on this album, like don't be afraid to release a ballad as the first single off of this. I mean, granted, it was her second album.
Right.
The first. I get the impetus to do a
Would you have done
song.
Late to the Party?
Not his first single. You know, you might be right about Dime Store Cowgirl.
If Die Fun had a little more production on it, it could work. It's just so acoustic guitar, but the melody's incredible throughout. Maybe there's a radio mix that could have been
Pageant Material.
Yeah, Pageant Material's nice.
That'd be a cute.
That's a cute
especially
one.
because it's the title of the album. I could see a great music video with that.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So maybe one of those. But you are correct that like the best songs on this album to me are the ballads.
Right. Which is why I think we delve into the romance for all the rest of the releases. I want Late to the Party next.
I mean, Late to the... Oh,
I know.
I think about that song and my heart just melts.
Like, that's just what love feels like.
I know.
Like, at least I'm going to be late to the party with you. It is so incredibly beautiful, romantic.
Miserable is great.
You know how I feel about Miserable. You know, like that, I feel like the triumvirate of Somebody to Love, Miserable, and To Die Fun is like one of those great 3-song lineups on an album, and I'm obsessed with all 3 of them.
As far as up-tempos go, Family is Family, I think is very, very fun and great.
It is.
I don't know first single though.
No.
Yeah, that's a little too kitschy.
I think we can't go past third single with Somebody to Love. Like, I need people to hear that song, know that song, live that song.
That opening with those strings.
Stunning.
I will never forget, I was dating someone. He loved country music, and I made him an entire playlist of all my favorite country songs and everything.
Look at you.
Yes, and of course, Somebody to Love was included on this list and everything.
As it should be.
And I told him, and this is beginning when we were dating, and I was just like, tell me my favorite song on this playlist.
How long was the playlist?
Oh, it was like 40 songs.
Oh, shit.
When I tell you, he guessed every single song before Somebody to Love. Like, he showed me the list. He wrote them all down and crossed them off one by one. And it was down to the final 2. And it was Somebody to Love and some other Taylor Swift song.
Right.
And I was just like, motherfucker, if you get this wrong, I will kill you. And he guessed the other song.
Well.
And I was like, how is it not obvious?
I
and
guess he was wrong.
Whatever.
He didn't get it, but Somebody to Love is excellent.
Yeah.
If we give it the third single choice, after that, I'm like, I don't know. I think Fine is beautiful too.
Fine is great.
What a beautiful.
Fine is so.
It feels like the final single in an era. Like, if there was another one before that, that's fine. But Fine just is like, you know, I'm not always about a 3/4 time. I'm not always about a waltz. But this album is just so romantic and expansive that by the time you get to Fine, and it's just like lyrically, melodically so devastating. A lovely record through and through that deserved more.
So for the errors of Pageant Material, we're literally just like anything else.
But literally anything else. Biscuits was a big problem.
Now this one.
This
is stressing me out because Speak Now by Miss Taylor Swift.
Yes.
A lot of these songs were on my playlist for
As they should be.
Is my favorite Taylor Swift album.
It's an excellent one.
I was wondering when you suggested we talk about this era, I was like,
Yes.
what was wrong with this era? What could possibly be wrong with this era? And then I re-looked at what the singles were, and I saw that second single choice, and I was like, oh, Matt Palmer hates this song.
I hate Back to December. I'm sorry. I've never understood what people love about this song.
I like it.
I think it's fine, but like this album, that's our second single.
Like every ballad on this album is so good. So like Back to December, it's like, oh, that one?
That's the one?
That's the one we're not doing.
Oh!
We're not doing.
Honestly.
But the first single was Mine.
I don't change that.
Flawless.
That is a flawless piece of music.
That was not an error in this era.
That is exactly what I'm talking about like, okay, we're giving the Taylor fans what they want at this point, post Fearless, but we're showing her growth.
Sure.
Like lyrically, melodically, this is so a grown-up version of Romeo, Take Me, XYZ. Perfect song Mine is. I have so many memories of sitting in Washington Square Park, listening to this song on fucking loop back in 2010 when it was out, before I was made my move to LA.
What would the second single be?
Enchanted.
Oh, I forgot.
Enchanted. Enchanted. like when we're talking about perfect songs.
Would you do a ballad though as the second single?
I mean, she did.
Because she did, but I would go Mean next.
Mean is excellent.
Mean was the third single,
and
I believe.
Mean should be a single,
Yes.
absolutely.
So I would do Uptempo in this era, and then hit them hard with the third single with
I'm fine with that.
I can't even say the word without like gasping for
It's
breath.
insane to me that this was not a single. The fact that we have gone through the Speak Now Taylor's version era and there's no video for Enchanted.
We need a new Taylor's version.
We need a new Taylor's version.
Part 2 where we just get a 10-minute long Enchanted.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. That song needed to be released. Mean, I'm fine with it being second or third.
The fact that Speak Now wasn't a single, like, because that is a song that is begging for a music video.
It was like at that point in the era, she would have such a big budget because these singles would have done so incredibly well. She's Taylor Swift post Fearless. She has all the money in the world. Let's make a beautiful wedding themed video for Speak Now where she can stand up in the audience and play and sing her song.
Yeah, and be like, "Oh, I'm just cute and quirky like all of you. Oh, he's with the wrong girl."
Exactly.
Like, that's so the vibe.
Yes.
And the song is flawless. What were the
is.
other singles? It was Mine, Back to December, Mean.
The Story of Us, maybe?
Story of Us was.
I think that's weird.
That's weird.
I don't dislike that song, but it's like that is not the one I'm going for.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to not do Speak Now and to do The Story of Us.
And I always wonder why I feel like even Taylor Swift fans don't give this album enough credit.
Yeah.
And is it because some of the single choices were...
It could be that.
They weren't huge successes.
It could be that.
You know?
I feel like, if I were in charge, post Speak Now, just go for the jugular and do Dear John.
Yeah.
And don't even edit it. Just be like, I am singing this song about John Mayer. Let's discuss it. Let's have Jennifer Aniston and Jessica Simpson in the video.
Oh, the thing is, Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake did so well. That music video did so well.
Yes.
And yes, did it make us angry? Yes.
Of course.
But it was successful because he had like the Britney lookalike thing in it. If she did a similar thing with Dear John, this song would be considered an American. It would be our national anthem by now.
And it should be.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too late
whenever
for that.
it's on, I'm always like...
I mean, it's just such a great record, and the single choices, when you look at them, do not represent the brilliance of the album. That's my issue, I think, with all three of these albums, is the albums are so perfect, and the single choices sometimes just don't represent how wonderful the album that they're a part of is. And so, those were, and the thing is, they're not huge errors. These eras all did fine. But if it were up to me, they would have just gone a little bit differently.
Sure.
All right?
Sure, there are eras that I feel like people don't give enough, the fans even don't give enough credit.
Yes.
Like, I feel like the Kacey Musgraves fans are just like, pageant material. And the Miley Cyrus fans are all just like, Endless Summer Vacation. It's like, do you not remember the album that came before it?
Hello. That is the album of Miley's life. I mean, she's coming out with a new album this year.
Yeah.
Visual album, so I'm excited to see what she does there. But as of this recording, Plastic Hearts is that girl, Miley-wise.
Sure.
Period.
Completely.
Guys, tell us below how you feel about these three albums. Do you feel like there were errors in these eras? What changes would you have made? How do you feel about our single choices or the single choices of the record label? Also, follow us on Twitter Blue Sky and Instagram at Matt Palmer Music.
And it's Matt Steele.
And at 2Gay Match for both of us. If you enjoy us, we have a podcast that comes out every single Monday. We record it every Sunday night. We'll be recording this week right after the Grammys, whenever they're over. Podcast is entitled 2Gay Match. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you really love us, go to patreon.com/2gaymats, where you can get extra bonus content from us, join our Discord, and meet friends you just haven't met yet. It's a lovely place to be. And Matt Steele, who do we need to give shout outs to?
To our legendary patrons.
Yes.
And their names are Matthew Tash, Rebecca, McKenna, Bradley, Brandon, Michael, Jen, Jesse, Jacob, Matthew, Dallas, Eric, Maxwell, Sam, Amanda, Armando, Heather, and Dr. Woods.
Thank you guys so much for being legendary patrons, and thank all of you for watching. We'll be back soon with more 2Gay Mats.
Bye.
Bye.